On this episode of Tell Us a Story and how dreaming big lifestyle came to be.
Of course, I was like, wow, without these fundamental things, you can't really have a sustainable business. I was in a toxic 9 to 5 work environment. I was in a toxic relationship. And when I finally came out of that, I was like, okay, I need to work on myself. I was kind of going through life, not making decisions for myself, sort of expecting things to happen. Maybe this is like a scary and risky thing to do. And then when you do that, it really changes the perspective of your day. Manifesting what's to come. And you're really just putting out there opportunities for yourself. Sometimes they come true, sometimes they don't. So you can get this from my website. My website is dreamingbiglifestyle.com and it's under my resources tab. You'll be able to find that and other things as well.
Welcome to Tell Us a Story, the podcast by Belmont City Press, where entrepreneurs and sales professionals share their journeys, insights, and strategies for success. In each episode, our guests reveal how they've overcome challenges, established their brands, and leveraged their stories to promote their businesses so you can too. I'm Red Hilton, your host for this episode. Today I'm joined by Ana, who is the founder of Dreaming Big Lifestyles. So, Ana, tell us a story.
Hi. Well, welcome and thank you for having me. My name is Ana Pautassi and I'm the founder of Dreaming Big Lifestyle. I am a business coach with 10 plus years of marketing experience, which is a great thing to have when you're in a small business. And I help small business owners and entrepreneurs start or grow their businesses to achieve financial stability and time freedom through marketing strategies, business strategies, and mindset strategies.
Fabulous. Can you do us a favor right off at the beginning? Can you explain or give us a little bit of your history and story and how Dreaming Big Lifestyle came to be?
Of course. I think this is a very fun story to share because I always like to say that I fell into the entrepreneurial world through flipping furniture, which is very different than what Dreaming a Big Lifestyle is. But I learned so much from that experience because I really just started making money from like a little side project that I didn't even know was going to be a thing. But my mindset at the time was like, this is just an income source. So I didn't treat it as a business. And there was so much that I learned from that I was like, wow, without these fundamental things, you can't really have a sustainable business that's going to survive the 3 years to 5 years to 10 years and so on. So what I learned from there was very unique in itself. And progressively over the years, I was like, on a mindset journey. Truly, that's what happened. I learned a lot about myself. I was in a toxic 9 to 5 work environment. I was in a toxic relationship. And when I finally came out of that, I was like, okay, I need to work on myself. And in doing so, I realized that you actually do have some control over your life. I was kind of going through life, not making decisions for myself, sort of expecting things to happen. And then being upset that it wasn't what I wanted when I didn't really know what I wanted. I wasn't really making myself a priority. And when I learned how to actually co-create life, is what I like to call it, like actually make decisions for yourself and be intentional in what you're doing. It's like, I need to teach other people how to do this. And from that is where Dreaming Big Lifestyle came. It's truly a business built out of the passion of being able to help others take control of their lives. And ultimately, the two things that came up for me that you need to have control of your life is financial stability and time freedom. And the best way to achieve that is by having your own business and your own income source. Because when you're working 9 to 5, which some people excel at, and that's where they want to be, you have one income source. And it's like a carrot being dangled in front of you. And if you lose that carrot, like if all of a sudden they're like, we don't need you, or we're going to hire someone else because it's going to cost us less, there goes your source of income. And now you're back in this place of trying to survive instead of trying to thrive. So that's a little overview of how my business came to be.
So you and I have spoken before. Talk to us about that self journey that people should go through then. That's your experience. What is it you sort of walk people through at Dreaming Big Lifestyle to know whether or not they should begin a business or how they should move in the direction of the business and what they want?
Yeah. So ultimately, my belief is that your business is meant to support your lifestyle, whether that's a lifestyle that you're living right now or one that you want in the future. So I think that's the first thing you need to kind of hone in on and understand what that lifestyle is that you want to truly understand if having your own business makes sense. Because having your own business, you wear a lot of different hats, you're doing a lot of different things. There isn't really like a manual. Like there is a manual to work 9 to 5. Okay. That's pretty much what like high school, university, college preps you for. But there isn't really one to be an entrepreneur and, be a business owner. You really have to go find courses and things that teach you that. And when you compare that to the life lessons that you've had of grooming to work in a 9 to 5 environment, it's not really the same kind of stepping stone that you're coming off of. So you really need to understand that. And then also, like, what is the lifestyle that you want? Do you want a lifestyle where you are going to be traveling a lot, where you actually do need that time freedom? Maybe you want to have a really big family and you want to be present for your kid's life, right? So it's like having that income where you don't have to be in front of your computer 24/7 or chained to a desk is really a necessity to be able to live that lifestyle. So I think that's the number one question you should ask yourself is like, when I picture myself in the future, what does that life look like? What am I doing day to day? Who am I hanging out with? What kind of conversations am I having? What are my income sources? Maybe you have multiple income sources, but that's really going to allow you to paint a picture to go, okay, so now what supports this? What are the steps I need to take from it? And where the mindset comes in is truly just connecting to yourself, because as humans, we love to ask questions, and a lot of the times we ask questions to the wrong people. And then it makes us take a step back, and then we get into the overthinking. We kind of spiral, and we're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe this is like a scary and risky thing to do. So, really understanding yourself and connecting with yourself is so important, because then you're able to kind of almost put up a wall against all the things that don't serve you, which is, these people giving their 2 cents when you didn't even ask for it, or they're not even the people that are where you want to be, right? So I think that's where the mindset really comes in that sort of scenario of understanding if starting a business is right for you. It really is like, what do you want ultimately? And then like connecting to yourself to make sure that it feels good. And it can feel scary. That's okay. And you can take action from that place regardless, right? Like it's okay to take action from a place of fear. Like that's totally fine. But it's not okay to do that because you're like, well, Anna over there said that I should. So I'm just going to roll with it. Ultimately, if it doesn't align with you, it's just not going to have the benefits that you're looking for. Two tools that I love to use for mindset are journaling. That's like me talking to myself, writing down things, because when your mind is going, your mind just like doesn't really finish sentences when you're, overthinking stuff. But when you're putting it on paper, you actually finish a sentence and you almost have like start having a conversation with yourself. So that is a great tool. And I also do have 21 journal prompts. It's a freebie on my website, dreambiglifestyle.com. It's under resources. You can go download that and it kind of will get you started in that process. And the other one is having a space or time in your morning to start off your day. When I wasn't incorporating sort of what we'll call a morning routine, I realized that I was just kind of approaching the day in a defensive manner. It was like everyone was throwing things at me. Emails would come in and be like, oh, why are they emailing me? Why are they contacting me? Why is my phone ringing? Like everything was just like so much. When ultimately, when you look at it, like it's an email, it's your job, you answer it. What are you doing, right?
Right.
So having that time in the morning to really allow my brain to sort of turn on and tune into the sort of intention and way that I wanted the day to go. What I mean by that is like, today I'm just going to have like a really amazing day. So then automatically doing that in the morning, which you can do through meditation or simply just sitting there and letting your mind kind of do its thing while you're sipping your coffee without any distractions, really allows you to kind of set your day with intention. And then when you do that, it really changes the perspective of your day. Because then the emails come in and you're like, great, I've been waiting to hear from this person. How awesome is it that we get to move forward on this stuff? Or, oh, you know what? I completely forgot about that. So thank you for reminding me. Instead of being like, why are you here? Like, who called you in? So those are some mindset tips and tools that have really changed the game for me. Not only when I was working 9 to 5, but when I was, running my business. I still have a morning routine. I wake up in the morning and I spend probably about an hour just like chilling, journaling, reading a book, like very relaxed. And it's, that's one of the things that I like to say. You're breaking your 9 to 5 habits, because in the 9 to 5 world, you're probably not doing that. You're rushing out the home, right? To get to work, or turning on the computer right away, even though you don't start for another half hour, just simply because you can. And having that intentional moment for yourself really changes your entire day and how it transpires. So that's a tool that I absolutely love and will probably have forever.
Mm.
Even this morning, I finished my coffee and I was like, I wonder if people actually just sit there and drink their coffee and enjoy their coffee before starting work, before starting their day, like simply just like being.
B. Mm-hmm. Let me just reset for a moment because you went through it quickly and I want to make sure our listeners are able to find it. You have a freebie on your website and it's dreamingbiglifestyle.com.
Correct.
And on there, it's the journaling prompts. Can you just readdress that one more time? Because I think it's extremely important, especially with the example that you just gave for people that might be interested in that. They go to your
Yeah,
website and they sign up for the journaling prompts.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on my website, I have a freebie. This is a PDF you can download by just, filling out a form and you'll get it to your inbox. And it has 21 journal prompts. So this is a variation of questions and kind of things to get you thinking, to prompt you to start writing in your journal. So you can get this from my website. My website is dreamingbiglifestyle.com and it's under my resources tab. You'll be able to find that and other things as well. But that is definitely one that I recommend if you're starting journaling or if you feel like you're opening your book and you're not sure what to even write because it's just not a practice that you're used to. That's a great tool to have.
We'll put the link to your website in the show notes, but I wanted to ask, do you have a favorite journal prompt?
My favorite journal prompt, which isn't really a prompt, is more like a task is what I'll call it because a prompt sometimes to me sounds like a question.
Mm,
This one in particular isn't. So it's actually writing out your day in the morning before your day has actually started. So you like write out your day. So like today I had a podcast interview with, Belmont City Press and on it we talked about this and this and it was so amazing and I can just feel that I'm gonna connect with so many people once it gets published. Even though like the day hasn't happened because this is in the morning before you've
mm-hmm,
even started, that is my favorite journal prompt because you're almost like manifesting what's to come. And
mm-hmm.
you're really just putting out there opportunities for yourself. Sometimes they come true, sometimes they don't. Most of the time, when you do this repetitively, I'm like, wow, I need
You're,
to reference my notes because I feel like I wrote about this yesterday.
you're deciding a direction to go in and you're going in that direction. And
Yeah,
that's not a bad way to go. Speaking of
right.
direction, when you started your business as an entrepreneur, what was your biggest stumbling block? Because I know we've talked about one of the biggest things for a lot of entrepreneurs is, their marketing and
Mhm.
connecting with people. So if you could speak to that from your own experiences and then, what you do inside of Dreaming Big Lifestyle for anyone else that's stumbling with that.
Yeah. That's a fantastic question. And I will say that there's two parts. There's the marketing and the mindset. The stumbling part for me wasn't necessarily in the marketing simply because that was my career before I started my business.
Sure.
So I had a lot of experience in it. The stumbling part for me was more on the mindset side because when you are starting your own business, you are very vulnerable and you really have to build your self-confidence because you're ultimately going out there and saying, I'm amazing, hire me, hire my services, buy my products, do these things. And unless you were in a sales position in your 9 to 5 world, it's very intimidating to do that, especially because, as we all know, and I'm sure everyone has experienced, family and friends are nosy and like to know what you're doing. So then you're out there being like, I'm awesome. Don't tell anyone otherwise, even though they wouldn't. But it's like those things are running through the back of your mind when you're doing something so brand new. So that vulnerability and self-confidence, I think, was my biggest block that I had to overcome. And truly, it was just a matter of like taking the first step. Take the first step. It doesn't matter what people think. Just go for it. Just do it. Does this feel good? Does it not feel good? If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Do what feels good.
Mm,
So on the marketing side of it, this is why mindset is so important and so incorporated in a lot of my one-on-one services, my coaching services, because without that aspect, anything that we do in marketing is just not going to have the same success.
mm,
And what I mean by that is that there's just so much information out there that it's easy to hop on the trends and hop on that next thing. And you're like, well, like Anna over here has this many followers, and apparently she got like this many likes and this many views and this many saves on her thing. So I'm going to copy what she's doing. But deep down, I don't like this and this doesn't feel authentic.
mm.
And I don't really want to be dancing in this video. So that's where the mindset comes into the marketing. It's like ultimately, if you don't think it's going to work for you, it's just not going to work for you because you're not putting the right energy behind it, like the right feelings behind it. You're doing it out of like, oh, I just have to check this off my list, right? Versus like, I'm so excited to put this out there. People are either going to love it or hate it, but I don't care because this is amazing. And ultimately, you just need one person to say this resonated with me. The one person to say, you were having so much fun in that video that it like magnetized me because your energy is so out there. So when it comes to marketing,
Is that in that response, do you feel is how you'll know that you're doing the right thing for your marketing? Like you're
oh,
getting the
100%.
response that you want?
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes, we're posting to watch those numbers, to watch those likes, to watch those
Mm,
comments, to watch those saves. That's not really what we want to be doing. We want to make sure that we're getting the right message out there, right? Like ultimately, sure, the more likes you have, the more things you have going on in terms of numbers on your social media, the more visual credibility it gives you because, you're more likely to go to a business that has 200 five-star reviews versus one that has three five-star reviews, right?
mm,
Especially like they're in the same plaza, which on social media, everyone's in the same plaza, in the same block. So that's something to keep in mind. But ultimately, if you want your marketing to do well, you need to stand out from the crowd.
mm.
So doing what everyone else is doing and not liking it, it's just not going to give you success. Now, if you're inspired by what someone is doing, that's completely different. Because now you're like, I have so much creativity because I watched this video and they did this and they did that. And I was thinking that maybe I'll change this or change that. And that feels more aligned with what my services is, what my mission of my business is, ultimately the things that I want to be doing. And that is just going to change everything. And you're going to start seeing a difference in your numbers
Mm,
simply from that. You might still get like 10 likes on your video, but your DMs are going to be different. Like you're going to get
mm.
people in there being like, yo, that was so funny. Or, hey, here's an application that just came in, or someone bought something. Because ultimately, the numbers on social media don't equal money in your bank account, not directly, right? So you
Ultimately,
can
I think one is more important than the other, but I guess it depends sometimes on who you ask.
Yeah, yeah. So if you are like out there trying to help people, getting your message out there, that's going to make a big difference. So one thing that I say about marketing is choose a tactic and stick with it for at least a month, because then you'll be able to see what needs to change, what needs to stay the same, and what you enjoy and don't enjoy from it. So whether that's, social media, if you're on social media and you're like, I'm seeing these people post 3 times a day. Like there's some
Mm,
people out there that are posting 2 reels a day. And I'm like, I personally don't have the time for that. And I just like can't wrap my head around doing something like that. So I'm not going to do that because
mhm.
ultimately what you want is consistency in what
Yes.
you're doing. So if right now you can be consistent showing up 3 times a week, 2 times a week, 1 time a week, and you're doing it with that mindset and energy that this is going to be beneficial, that this is going to work, that this one thing could sell out my offer, do that. Just be consistent. Be
Mm,
consistent with your message. When the idea comes in, run with it. Don't overthink it because there's a reason that idea popped in your head. Run with it. I have a client that posts once in a blue moon. I kid you
mm.
not. She gets actually a lot of clients off of Instagram and she posts once in a blue moon. I'm like, I am amazed at this. Like, your energy is just so magnetizing that as soon as something goes up there from your account, people are like, yes, I want in. I want this. I want to book you. I want
Nice.
to buy this thing. I'm like, that is what you want. That is what you want. I think we get hung up on this like social media is our job. And if you're an influencer, sure. But if you're not an influencer, it's not your job. Your
It's not
job
your
is to
job.
get clients and help those clients, right? But we get hung up on like, I need to be on social media every single day, which can be beneficial to an extent, unless you can't keep up with that. But ultimately, it's like you want the clients.
Mm, the
You want to be able to
numbers as
help the
well.
people.
So, social media being one thing, but what is generally one of the bigger misconceptions about your business and what you do that you often find yourself educating people about?
Yeah. I would say mindset is one of those like educational pieces. People kind of forget that that's a part of it,
Mm,
and it's probably one of the biggest parts. In terms of marketing, I would say the misconception is that marketing just isn't, I'm going to show up. I'm going to post on stories. It's truly having a plan. And what I mean by that is you map out your month. You
mm,
figure out what service you want to promote. You figure out who the ideal client is for this service so that when you're putting stuff out there, if it is 3 times a week, 2 times a week, or whatever, it really resonates with them. It's
mm,
connecting all of your marketing resources, which a lot of the times that looks like possibly Instagram, maybe you're on TikTok, maybe you're on LinkedIn. It also includes your email list. It also includes like reaching out to past clients that you think would be a good fit. Like there's so many different parts, and it's truly about having a plan around this thing that you're going to be promoting. Are you going to go knocking door to door? Maybe that's something you want to be doing because it just makes sense for this thing that you're launching. I don't know what your business is. It could work. Door-to-door marketing still somewhat works. I still get mail of people promoting things. I still hear people buying that stuff. It's running an ad on social media about your product or service and making sure that all your organic content, so the ones that you're not putting money behind on your social media, has the same message because it adds. I think a lot of the times we're like, this one thing is the thing. And sometimes that works, but it takes a lot of touch points for someone to understand and make that buying decision. So that ad is like step one. And then, they hear about your name or they see someone reshare a story, and all these things kind of like domino effect. And that's what the marketing plan is. It's like truly understanding what it is that you're selling and making sure that everything you're doing is connected to that.
Do you have a favorite marketing point in your plan? Is there something you enjoy doing more than others?
Yes. So for me, it would be I'm really getting in the groove with TikTok, which is like weird for me because at first I was very against it, but now I'm like, okay, this is my place to have fun. Because Instagram, I feel like I've developed it to really be my storefront and very educational, and it still has some fun to it, but I notice with myself, there's like a limit on like the kind of fun I'm willing to have on there versus TikTok. I'm like, don't care, do whatever I want. So I'm having a lot of fun with TikTok over there, and I'm seeing the difference in terms of followers, conversations that I'm having on there. That's really fun. But I will say that one thing that I enjoy about my marketing plan is, I'm going to say YouTube. So this is something that in 2024 in particular has become more prominent, and it's having long form content. So a place where you really can have content out there that's longer than a minute, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. So a
like
great
the
place
video
for
of
that.
this podcast?
Yeah, exactly. So like the video of this podcast, you can sit here and listen to all this in the background or whatever you're doing, right? So a podcast and YouTube are places where you can have long form content, where you can really have a conversation. You're almost like giving little master classes and events and workshops. That's truly what these things turn out to be when you're doing longer content, or a lot of them are blogs or vlogs, with a V.
Right.
Yeah, because they're like showcasing a travel place that they went to. It's very educational in that regard and entertaining in that regard. So I'm really enjoying creating content for that. That has been really fun to just kind of be able to create longer content, because I do find that on other platforms, I'm like, there's just so much more. This is only like the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much deeper that we can go with this and still be able to provide you with amazing things and whatnot. So.
Speaking of longer content, tell me about your 10-day business challenge.
Yeah, so I have a 10-day business challenge along with other challenges as well. But I have a 10-day business challenge. This is free for anyone that wants to hop on this. And what it is that every day you get an email for 10 days. And it's about intentionally working on creating consistency in your business so that you can call in those clients, call in those sales with a lot more ease. And the best part about this is that it won't take you more than 10 minutes a day to execute this challenge. So 10 days, 10 minutes a day. And what this includes are things like post or reels or story prompts, like for social media. It includes like revenue generating activities to focus on. It also has some journal prompts because, like I mentioned, mindset is very key. Has like some ideas on how to complete the challenge, as well as some templates and examples. It really has everything you would need to make this challenge really easy. And what I love about it is that it's 10 days. So you kind of go into the weekend, which is when a lot of people kind of go, pause, I don't know, I don't want to continue. And the ones that actually do the consecutive 10 days see such great results because it's almost like an energy activation. You're like, okay, like felt a little lost, wasn't sure what I was doing, and I just needed that sort of like knob to turn on of like, we are going, like, we're tuning into a different frequency, a different radio station here. And now I know exactly what I'm going to do every day for 10 days, for 10 minutes, and I know that it's meant to create these results. Get more clients, get more sales.
Walk us through some of the things that you do in your one-to-one coaching. So as someone is listening, that you may touch on a point where they are in need. So walk us through what you do in your one-to-one coaching most often.
I love my one-to-one coaching containers because they're very unique. I created them to really be customized to each person. So the way that these kick off is with a call where I get them to kind of answer a whole bunch of questions. And the one that I hone in on is your rich self. And what that is I get them to really map out your rich version. When you are wealthy, you have all the money in the world and everything you could ever want. Who are you? What are you doing?
Mm,
What does your life look like? And from there, I'm able to actually pull out so many things that benefit their business, that benefit their life, and we start building foundations. So what I mean by that is, if someone, for example, one of my clients wants to buy a house on the lake. I'm like, beautiful. I'm like, you actually already own a house, which is amazing. Like step one, you understand what it's like to own a place, which if you didn't, I would say that's probably step one. Like, let's just figure out, let's get you into the market. What does that look like? What do you need in place? So then I'm like, okay, so ultimately, when you have this house, what are you doing day to day? And she's like, well, I would have an agency. I would have these things running where I don't have to come into work.
mm,
Beautiful. So we're talking about like maybe 10 years out, 15, 20 years out. What does that mean for today? So
mm,
today, let's look at your business. This, and this. What part of these do you actually feel like could be passed off to someone else? So then we kind of work backwards from this like big vision goal and we work backwards and how that impacts your business. So for that example of future lake house, you want to have an agency, which a lot of the times it's hard for people to visualize their future. So I really love that exercise because, like I said, your business needs to support the lifestyle. So, because ultimately, if you don't have like this lifestyle that you want to be living, then just work a 9 to 5 job because it is very comfortable to just sit there and get your paycheck. So you
mm,
really are setting up your business to support the life that you want. So when we come back to the one-on-one coaching, it's how do we actually create this idea of an agency? What does that look like? What kind of people would you need in there? What kind of services would you be offering? And she's like, well, I guess I would be offering some marketing services. Great. Do you feel comfortable offering these right now? Like, is this in your wheelhouse? Well, this one is fantastic. When do you want to promote this? Because we can start promoting this right now. Do you have availability for it? Yes, you do. And then we create a launch plan together. These are the things that we're going to be doing. This is your marketing plan for this month where we're going to promote this thing. And then when you get to this level of having this many clients, beautiful. Now we're ready to outsource. Now you're ready to hire your first person, your first
mhm,
freelancer. And you really kind of start building almost backwards, right? Because you
mhm,
have that big future of owning a lake house, which all of a sudden becomes that you are offering a random service that you weren't offering before in your business.
mm.
But it's like until you can see that vision of your life in the future, it's like you don't even know what step one is.
Start with the end in mind, someone once said.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not bad. What else is offered on your website as we send people over there? What else can they find and benefit from? And, for getting in touch with you, obviously. But what else is there on the website for them to find?
Yeah, so aside from the one-on-one coaching, which there's two different containers, one of them is 3 months of one-on-one. The other one is a one-off call, which is perfect for those that are looking to have a plan that they can just run with it at their own pace.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have courses as well. So I have a course that helps you map out your 6-figure year. So really like building out a 12-month plan for your business. I have a course on how to start a business as well, which is very detailed in the sense that not only am I like, you need a business name, I'm actually showing you behind the scenes. So I'm showing you, you should have a website built, and I'm showing you how I built my website behind the scenes, which is not
Mm,
something that's really out there of like, this is actually the how-to aspect of it.
mm,
So I have that one that's called Nomad Lifestyle. And then I have a mindset course that's called The Good Vibes. So if you're noticing that you need some help with that, that is an amazing course that really walks you through the fundamental aspects of mindset that really allow you to kind of go all in on your life ultimately and
mm.
really understand like what it is that you want out of it and be very intentional with your life. So I love that course as well.
Fabulous. Anna, what is your Monty? So, as you know, Monty is our little mascot here at Belmont City Press, and we like to use him as a beacon of all things inspirational and knowing. So, what is your phrase or mantra or something to sort of get you through the day or something you could share with our audience that will inspire them? So, what is your Monty?
My Monty is why not me?
Mm,
So what this is about putting yourself in the game. A lot of the times people will be out there because let's be honest, we're all on our computers and our phones, and we're seeing people asking for help in the areas that we can help them with, and we don't
mm,
put ourselves in the game. So why not me is my Monty. It's like, why can't I be the one to help this person? Why can't I be the one to speak at this event? Why can't I be the chosen one?
mm. Fabulous. So let's get to know the Anna behind the Anna. We're going to do our little rapid fire section right
Yeah.
now. I'm going to give you two choices. You just, get back to me, tell me which one sort of resonates with you the most, and we'll go from there. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fabulous. Board games or video games?
Board games.
Okay. Vintage or new?
Vintage.
Fabulous. And surfing or skiing? Do you
Oh,
have a
that's actually
preference?
a hard one. I guess I'll go with surfing. I haven't skied in a long time. I tried surfing one time in British Columbia. It was a complete fail, but I think I would like to try that again.
Well, I don't know if it was a fail because you learned, if nothing else. All right, spontaneous or planned?
Planned.
Thank you. There's only one right answer there. Scary movie or comedy?
Comedy.
Of course. Yes. Hats or scarves?
Scarves.
I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I,
My
I
curly hair doesn't love all the
oh,
hats, you know?
oh,
Like some of them work, some of them don't. Scarves, easy. They all go.
the scarves are for everybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. As you know, we have a guest to guest question. So the guest before you left behind a question that they would like for you to answer.
Yes.
And are you ready?
I'm ready.
Fabulous. When did an encounter with a stranger change your life for the better?
Whoa. Okay.
Right? That's a good one.
What a powerful question.
Mm,
This is going to be a bit of a random question based on how our conversation, or answer based on how our conversation has been going. I went on a trip to Peru with one of my girlfriends, and well, we stayed in a hostel and we met some other travelers. These men in particular were from the UK. And I became really good friends with one of them. And he was actually the one that encouraged me, although he was in the UK. And at that point, I was back in Canada. He's the one that encouraged me to go on dating apps. Because at that point, I had recently ended a relationship and I was like, I don't know what to do. Not that I was looking for love. He's like, just go on it and like see what happens, see what comes
mm,
of it. If anything, you'll have funny stories to share with me. And I ended up meeting my husband on there.
oh,
But the story doesn't even end there because prior to me meeting my husband, I went to the UK. I met up with him and I actually brought two girlfriends with me. So the three of us went, we met him, and now he is engaged to one of my friends and they have a baby together. So very random encounter with a stranger that led to this like love connection that probably would have never happened.
never happened. Never happened. Isn't it amazing?
It's wild. You
It's
just never know. You just never know what's
you,
going to happen.
you never know. You never know. All right, as we wrap up, hit us with your website one more time, your social media handles, and so everybody knows where to find you. Dreaming Big Lifestyle.
Yeah. So my website is dreamingbiglifestyle.com, and you can find me on pretty much any social media platform like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube under the handle Dreaming Big Lifestyle.
Fabulous. What is your parting thought for our listeners?
Hmm. I really like to tell people to take a chance and put themselves in the game. You know, like go all in. The worst that will happen is that you're going to learn some stuff that no matter what, you were going to learn anyways. You know, whether it was through this decision or another, might as
Mm,
well do the one that really lights you up and excites you.
fabulous. Well, Anna, you have been a delight. I thank you for your time. It's extremely valuable, and I hope I honored that here today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. To our listeners, if you have a story to share, visit tellasastorypodcast.com. If you're an aspiring author, a seasoned business owner, or looking to elevate your personal brand, visit belmontcitypress.com for expert advice on writing your own success story. Trust the next chapter because you are the author. Now, tell us a story.